Welcome to the Guide Life Podcast by Whiskey Slews. This show is about the work, the hunts, and the real side of guiding. No filters, no fluff, just what it takes to build and run a hunting operation from the ground up. Every week we'll cover everything from land management to habitat work to the daily grind of guiding waterfowl upland and turkey hunts here in Nebraska. I'm Hunter Runge, CEO, guide, and the voice behind the blind. Guys, new episode, we're back. Doing one in the lodge this time. Different outsetting for us. Looking over this giant honker sitting in the end of our dining table, making me miss season.
He's a big boy.
Big
trying to land right on your head, Peepaw.
Out-banded one, and then we got that speck right at the end of the table. We've got ourselves a goose palooza in this upstairs. We've got that one mallard and that pintail. Don't even realize how much banded and, well, not even banded, how much mounted birds we've got in here until you really start counting, but we've got a lot.
Can always use a few more this season. Can't have too many.
You can never have too many dead things in your house.
No.
Not at all.
But yeah, we're back. New episode. It's going to be a lot of fun. Platt's barking at the door already. People walking in and out. Platt, hey, leave him be. Anyways, we're going to kind of continue on our hot takes from the waterfowl world and kind of continue on to a part 2 and get some more content coming your way with that. Tell you one thing, when I was reading through like our list of hot takes, is there's a lot. Peel that even back. Aside from the hot takes, there's a lot of like clicks and cliche in the waterfowl world. I really feel like it's like just developed recently. No,
I feel like it's been there since the end of time.
You feel like it's been there since?
I feel like it's gotten more clicky.
Social media brings it out.
That's
more,
what I was gonna say. Social media,
Social
media can almost ruin it in a way.
But like the Sitka dive bomb, Benelli, Boss, Apex, whatever you micro, whatever you want to call it, like those like cult followings you've got.
Yeah, I don't know. You look back at like the generation before us of duck hunting, though, it was always like G&H or whatever at the time. I mean, FA layouts were huge for a long time. Like, if you didn't have an FA layout, you weren't killing them, like, all sorts of stuff.
Me and Bob, that back in the day, the old timers that hunted, it was always big full-body Bigfoot spreads around here. Oh, man. That's all it was. Your permanent rigs, you drive by a cornfield, you're like, yep, there's, whoever in their big full-body Bigfoots, about 300 Bigfoots every single day. What are you looking for? Maverick keys.
There you go. No, there's still, you look around, Bigfoots on the river, it is ridiculously common for as far as the old timers
decoys,
go. They are.
But they blow over so easily.
And they have no motion.
No motion, and they blow over.
That's why I know, like, some of the old timers I grew up hunting with, they'd take and drill holes in the feet, and they'd put big rebar stakes bent in an L in them, and then they'd stick those through, and that is where that decoy sat from the first day of season till the last day.
What you gain in visibility, you lack in motion.
Finishing power.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I would say, I would agree with you, Bob. I would say social media really draws out the outfitting world, and like, not the outfitting world, the waterfowl world, and like kind of makes it seem more clicky than it is in socials. Like, think about it. If you got on like 8 or 9 different social pages, and on TikTok, you watch one, it just shows it to you. It might make it look like it's more popular, but it's really the algorithm showing you the same videos.
Yeah,
like
you
styles,
like one, the algorithm
so
can
on
keep
and so
eating
forth.
it
But
to
still,
you. It also allows people that have like-minded to connect a lot easier than like back in the old timers that were first started waterfowl hunting a lot in this area. Like, it was whatever the local guys used. That was all you knew, and you either fit in with everybody in your area, or they were like, ew, that guy runs them ugly things down there. He ain't killing nothing. And now it's like not just, okay, within your 20, 30-mile area, it's across the country. Like, they run them shitty decoys. I can't hunt with those guys, or man, they don't wear good clothing. They must not take it serious, or like whatever it may be.
Let me ask you this. Let me change that a little bit. I'll kind of hot take it too, even for the episode's sake. I feel like it's gotten more competitive. I feel like the younger generation, our generation of waterfowling, I feel like a lot of it is pressure to kill a limit. not just to go out and enjoy the outdoors and have a good hunt. There's still plenty of people who do that, but I feel like it's turned very competitive. You know, think about how many...
there's a lot of I want to kill a pile for my social media, especially in the younger you go, the more you see it. Of trying to kill a pile to please social media, to make it look like you're a killer or you're the best duck hunter out there.
I do see that so much with like snow geese too, for example. Yeah, oh my god,
shooting them on a pond, lining them up in the decoys.
Yeah, it's like that's the thing is like, you know, obviously social media was not near a presence as it was when I was a kid and when we were kids than it is now. I still, when I was younger and I'd go hunting with my dad, we were doing the same stuff, going to the same marshes at the same sleeping out, you know, all the nine. I mean, you would have some, every once in a while, some voice confrontations, but like I've seen people getting into fist fights. I've seen people shooting at each other. I've watched people get shot in the news this last year, which I know it's happened all the time, but like I feel like I'm just seeing it more frequently. That like, especially on public land and stuff like that, people are, this is my spot, get the hell out, I'm gonna beat your ass type of thing. And I guess I didn't feel like, my hot take is I feel like it's gotten worse over the years.
I think COVID brought a lot of that out. That would be my opinion on that. I mean, when you had COVID, everybody and their brother became a duck hunter. Everywhere started getting hunted hard. Spots that most guys never hunted, they started noticing existed and were good. And now you have a year post-COVID where ducks are really hard to find and very limited spots that are going to be good, especially on the public land. And it's like everybody wants those spots that, you know, before weren't, one, known about, and two, the pressure wasn't there before. But it seems like pressure's dropping off a little bit now as we get farther out from COVID. But there for a long time, pressure amped up a lot as people's work life changed on, you know, being in the office versus being able to go out and do their work on a different time and all that. It brought the numbers to public land that I never thought we'd see of people.
I remember a story from our local game warden talking about a very, very public, I don't know why I'm hiding, he was talking about funk. Told me that on opening day for duck season, it would have been 21 or 20. 21, I think it was, when we had all the water, and everywhere was flooded at funk. I think he told me there was like 51 trucks.
Yeah, it's insane.
Funk. Could you imagine being a duck?
Well, I remember like we used to hunt funk on opener a lot growing up, and there was some really good hunting. And in the past few years, dude, I'd be scared to go out there on opener because you're like, it's not if you're gonna get shot, it's like you're gonna get BBs rained on you because those same birds, they buzz around a circle when everybody starts shooting, and everybody starts shooting, and you're all sitting around a giant circle, and it's just shooting BBs going everywhere. I remember one idiot set up out in the dead middle, which is a great spot to kill them, but when it was low water that year, they were shooting everybody on the banks. Everybody on the banks was shooting them. It was just a mess. I remember that whole thing blowing up.
That's what we would do is we would go on funk and find the open water in the middle, and it's a long walk. It's a bitch to get to. No one wanted to do it, but we would do it, and we would do it in the middle of the week when no one else was around, and we would kill them pretty good. But I don't even, like you said, I don't dare step foot on public land on opener. Usually on opener,
just sit out in the middle on opener, you're getting shot.
It's like, dude, usually on opener,
because it's thick too. You can't necessarily see.
Yeah. Me and Bob and our guys, usually on opener, we find a farm pond that's got about 30 local mallards on it, and that's our hunt. They'll all come in about right after.
Because we don't guide for our
for the regular opener. For the season opener, obviously we're on the Platte, but like
I'll take a farm pond with 10 ducks over public land that time of year.
30 to 40 wood ducks and mallards on a pond, and we'll have our 30 minutes of flurry right at the beginning of the morning. Kill what we can and say that was a great hunt, fellas. Let's go have some breakfast.
Our migrators aren't really here for that time of year. You're shooting the last of the teal that are still stuck. You've maybe got a few widgeon, but really it's a week or two out from there before it really starts getting good. We kick off way too early.
I just really feel like, too, like the other thing that I've learned is I haven't myself gotten into confrontations with people on public land. There was one time I walked past these guys getting their waders on, and they looked back at me, and they're like, you can go try to steal our fucking spot, man. We were here first and whatever. And I was like, no, you guys just tell me where you're going. I'll go elsewhere. That was probably the worst confrontation I've had on public land.
It's not worth it. I mean.
But exactly. That's what I was getting at is, like, it's pointless. Like, we're all going to go sit around the marsh in the spots, and we're going to pass shoot teal. That's what you're doing.
I've had more people sit with us than ever have an issue. I mean, The only one that ever made me mad was when I carried in a load of goose decoys. I put them on the bank, went back to get another load of goose decoys because you can only carry so many at a time and you need a lot to kill geese. And you get back and somebody's sitting like 10 yards from them, whether they saw the decoys or just said they didn't or what. And then you're like, fuck, I got to move all these now.
My favorite one was me and Joe were hunting some public ground. And we had hunted there the day before and we just murdered them, shot our limits, and then went back the next day. And we were a little tired, so we got out there just a little bit later. We were kind of pushing it. We were just walking to a spot. Like, we were literally just like, wherever we can find a spot this day, we were just going to set up wherever we could. Well, we walked past one guy about 15 yards away, and it's dark, you can't see anything, and he sees us, and he just flips. What the hell are you guys doing? We've been set up for this long, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, chill out. Like, we're trying to find an open spot. This is just as much my ground as it is your ground. And you know what? Funniest thing ever, me and Joe get set up in the spot. We were like, I don't know how well this is going to work. One little tiny cove, and literally every duck that went to that marsh that day wanted to be in that spot. And we were shooting them so much that me and Joe didn't even bring enough shells. So, like, we could have limited, but we were just watching birds pour into the decoys. We were out of shells, and we were like, well. But either way, I mean, it's crazy. It's like everyone thinks that it's the same way with lakes. Like, everyone seems to think that that ground is specifically theirs.
Yeah, and it's like, one of my favorite stories from this year was Sage, actually. Sage is a really great guy that I met public hunting at Funk. He helped us on some pheasant hunts even. It worked out so great, but I pulled up to this marsh, and I walked in, and I knew he was out there, but I thought it was bigger than it was, and I got out there to meet up with him, and I walked up to him and said, hey, man. I said, my name's Hunter. How's it going? I'm not trying to be in your way. I just wanted to know, like, if it's okay if I walk past you and go sit up down there. And he was like, Hunter, my name's Sage. How you doing? We talked, whatever. And he goes, hey, why don't you just hunt with me? Why don't we hunt together today? And I was like, that sounds wonderful. And we killed one blue-winged teal.
Didn't kill shit, honestly, though, I mean, I can think of a lot of times where that's happened. It's like, why set up 200 yards, 150 yards away and compete for birds when, especially if you're hiking a long ways into public, put all your decoys together, hide together, hunt together, make some new friends, make some good memories, enjoy it. I mean, a lot of our public hunting is iffy at best, and might as well enjoy just good times and good people.
Back to the decoy thing, the whole clickiness I talked about. I remember when I grew up hunting, my dad, he didn't give a shit about decoys. Like, my dad was like, we're going to hunt with whatever I can get my hands on that's mildly affordable. So we hunted with flambeaus.
Oh, I did too.
Thought they were the coolest things ever. We killed so many ducks over.
The first set of flambeaus I got were the first set that hadn't been hand-painted decoys that I'd got from a garage sale. Like, I'd painted them all with spray paint, my first set of decoys. Got flambeaus, and I was like, man, they actually have real paint on them. Holy shit, these things are legendary. Yeah. We called them our nice decoys for 2 or 3 years before we were like, wow, they make some really good decoys on this market.
When I was a kid, I saved up all my money from mowing the yard in the summer, and I went and I bought a dozen Bigfoot sleepers, and a dozen avian mallard floaters with the flocked heads, the Cabela's pack. And I remember holding those. You remember those mallard floaters. I remember those mallard floaters, holding those up against the flambeau, and the difference was insane. Honestly, though, we were so bad at calling and hiding and everything, probably about the same results. Like, they were stupid enough to come into our dumbasses with, it didn't matter what decoy we had.
I can tell you, I've still had days, even now, where we hunt over some of those, because I've got a couple of friends from high school that that's what they hunt over is some hand-me-down decoys and some flambeaus and stuff like that. And there's days they're like, hey, you want to come join me and, like, we'll hunt with these. And we've killed a lot of birds over them if you know where to get and where to call at, how to call, all that, and getting on an X. But there's a difference in good quality decoys and not. That's very apparent when it comes to finishing birds. But you can still have great hunts over whatever you can get your hands on. The biggest thing is just getting on the hunt and doing your homework on where are these birds going, why.
Yeah. I also think the internet and the social media craze and everything has made it seem like you have to have it to kill them. It just seems like you have to have the best looking decoys and everything.
I mean, the biggest thing truthfully as being where the birds want to be. There's days you could shoot them over liter bottles on a weight that are painted black, the old-time diver decoys, stuff like that. But you can't kill them if you're not out and not being where the birds are wanting to be. I mean, unless you're running traffic, which is a whole different ballgame. But, like, when you have limited tools, limited capabilities, being on the X is the best. You can kill them over some weird stuff. I've had days where we've shot a lot of ducks and even some Canada geese over snow goose socks on a river sandbar and a few Canada socks mixed in. And I'm not talking many. It was one of those deals to get to the X. You had to go 2-3 miles on foot, and you just throw them in a backpack, and you're like, I've only got a couple hours to hunt this morning. I'm going to take some random socks and just go set up. But some good calling and being in the right spot, you can do a lot.
Let's talk about same kind of concept, but ice frost on the decoys. Is it 100% a problem?
That one's tough. I think frost is a huge issue.
Some days, see, that's the confusing part. Is I'd say it depends on the condition.
Well, if it's foggy, it don't matter. If it's foggy, you're going to kill them.
Or if it's snowing.
If it's still snowing, then it just looks like birds got some snow on
I've killed ducks in heavy blizzards where the decoys are so covered in snow, it's like, how do they even know these are decoys?
Literally. Or ice, yeah. Like you got white chunks floating on the water.
Literally.
All they see is a spinner and a little bit of duck calling.
We go out in the mornings on the Platte below freezing, and it's like, set the decoys, don't throw them. And then you set them, and then as you're walking back, the river's, the waves from the river, and you're fucking walking and everything. You're putting ice on them anyways.
Yeah.
You know? What does it matter? Now, I do believe once the decoy forms a circle of ice around it, that is a problem.
I think that is. I also think that, like you said, big deal on weather conditions. Like, if it gets to the point where they're shining and the birds have good visibility, I think it makes a pretty decent difference, depending on the species you're hunting, on finishing them. I think you can still get them to get a solid look. But on some of those days when your decoys are covered in frost or ice, whatever, you might want to shoot them on the first or second pass, not sit there and let them work and work
Geese
and work
are
and work.
Notorious for that. That's a big thing with like silos. Like, you get some sun on them, and if you don't have like a good brand of silos, and that paint just pops and it doesn't look natural.
Well, and the big thing I'd say on silos that we've come to learn over time, or at least that I've formed an opinion on, is there's weather that's great for each type of decoy. And like if you've got the weather for silos, they're legendary decoys. They can work great. If you don't, you got to be cautious how you use them, because they can hurt you or they can help you. It really depends. I mean, I love running silos for, shooting ducks in a field. Every day of the week I'll take them, like most of the time. That they're going to work fine. Now, if it's sunny, no wind, I'm probably not going to go set up with painted silos to shoot geese, but just kind of depends.
Well, and then there's the convenience factor, especially for your public land guys, like getting out on the river.
Oh, yeah. Now,
you can't beat them.
Now, that's a whole different story. You start talking public land, I'm almost always going to run silos because I ain't carrying in 5 dozen full bodies, 10 dozen full bodies.
I think about a lot of our public land river spreads. We'll take 20 dozen silos in.
Yeah.
We'll set 240 decoys on a sandbar. There usually ain't never 240 decoys on, and them geese, they like that.
Yeah. Well, that, and, they haven't seen them there. You get them out there, and on those sandbars when you set up, usually your decoys are so thick as far as the silos go that, like, when they look at it, they can't pick out as much.
Yeah.
But if you set that same spread on, like, a field and you ran them that tight, it'd look really weird on some of them warm, sunny days.
I went out with some of our good buddies the first year we owned the river, and we set 45 dozen silos on the giant sandbar right off the drive. Set up an A-frame. Only saw one group of geese, so the idea to test it out against the lessers didn't work too well. We killed the one group, but what we did do is we pulled so many ducks off of the refuge that I didn't think we could pulled them all the way over to us, and we murdered the ducks.
There can be a lot of power to a big black blob. We ran a spread last year for geese, and it was just on a very high visible hill, and I watched these geese come off. They were flying a flight line 2 miles away, and I'm like, ain't a chance, but we'd thrown the frickin' kitchen sink at them, and all of a sudden them things just started turning 2 miles out. Like, you could tell we weren't the flight line, but they were like, let's go get close enough to check this thing out. And then that's when flagging and calling, as soon as they got in range for that, really made a huge difference. But sometimes a big black blob, especially in snow, can do wonders because they see it from so damn far.
So back that up to the ice and the silos and all that thing. Does it matter the location and the pressure of the birds? I think that matters a lot more than the amount of ice on the decoys. You got birds that are hardly hunted or very less pressure.
I wouldn't even worry about it.
It ain't even something I was going to say. I wouldn't even worry about it.
Now, if you're hunting a river where, like some spots on the Platte, you get a blind every 500 yards.
That's tough.
If you're hunting an area like that and your decoys look like that and you've got a bunch of old-time permanent spreads that stay out and they're used to being like, oh, fuck, don't go over there. Oh, fuck, don't go over there. Yeah, then you're going to be sitting there like, give me that propane torch, give me my broom. We're keeping these things clean. Let's rock them and roll them.
So let me then carry that on a little bit more to the river. You know how like our river fluctuates up and down? And when it fluctuates up and then it freezes and then it goes down, you have basically like ice brittle.
Yeah.
You just step on it and all the ice shatters and it cracks and it looks horrible. Do you guys think that matters when you set a spread on top of and around all that cracked, ugly-looking ice, or if you have to break ice and you get most of it out, but you got these big chunks that you like cannot move or whatever, big old chunks of ice brittle, all that shit on the river when you set a spread, do you guys think that it matters? I'll preface that by saying it bothered the hell out of me for a long time.
I will say this. It depends a lot on the scenario. On the river, ice sheets on the river are fairly normal. I've hunted a farm pond where you broke a hole, and there were so many ice chunks you couldn't hardly see open water, and we still killed ducks. Personally, I hate the chunks floating around. I think it looks like shit. If you can shove them under the ice, great. If you got to like walk through thin ice and there's ice sitting on everything, a lot of times I try to hide them with sleeper shells and just kind of break it up. But I don't know. A lot of that goes back to the weather. If you've got a bunch of skim ice like that, it's usually cold. These birds are starting to go into survival mode, and you've usually got cloud cover, and that can be great. But if on some of them sunny days, when you get thin ice sheets up on there and they start shining so bad, I think that looks like shit and can flare some birds. But, there's days where you just can't screw them up, and there's days where they get nitpicky about that stuff. A lot of it goes back like we were talking pressure, but personally, I think it does have a negative impact on things, but sometimes you can't avoid it.
I personally hate the chunks, especially slush. I hate slush on the river because it seems like when you do have slush on the river, there's always some part of the river that doesn't have slush because of just the way the channels and everything, and then those spots that don't have it. You physically see the ducks using those areas where it's not as slushy.
Would you want to swim in slush or would you want to swim in open water?
Now let me back that up. We got a drone this fall for everybody, or this winter for everyone who doesn't know. We use it to record video for social media, stuff like that. I flew it over our river the very first day we got it in January. I flew it over the river. We had all that chunk brittle ice, everything. We had all of that. It'd be colder than hell outside. Slush in the water, everything. Once you got about 40 yards off the ground, couldn't see the slush in the river.
Yeah,
hold on though. Once you got about 50 yards over the ground and you got over that ice brittle, couldn't tell. Now, granted, a 4K Ultra HD camera and a duck eye are two different things, but what I learned was the big chunks that are just out in the middle and that kind of stuff, that does matter. The slush, I would say it does matter because you're not shooting your ducks at 40 yards in the air. But what I would say is, I think what I personally have done is I've let it get in my head a little too much. And instead of thinking about the hide, the spread, or the calling, I blamed it on the slush or the ice a few times.
Oh, I'd 100%.
That was the thing that I thought I did. Instead of thinking logically about something else, I think I blamed it on the wrong stuff, and I do think that did set me back on a couple hunts.
Yeah, I will agree with that. I'm definitely guilty of the same there. I think that a lot of it depends on the angle of the sun and how much shine you're getting off those ice chunks, but like you said, there's times they can't see it. There's times they don't care. But there's usually a way to get them to finish. It's just a matter of figuring out what they want outside of that, not necessarily blaming it on that.
Yeah.
Because that goes back to the whole saying of control the controllables and fuck the rest. If you can't control the ice, you have to do everything else in your power to control the rest of the scenario. I mean, there's days we've hunted some holes of water that you can only fit 6 decoys in, and we've still killed them. You just gotta really call at them and work at them. And, if you've only got a couple decoys in that open water and maybe you only have a little tiny open pocket and the rest is ice, okay, make sure you've got decoys that look like they're swimming around and moving. Put a swimmer out, put a squirter out, whatever that makes it look like these ducks have found this little fresh open hole and are fighting to keep it open, and other ducks will come.
Yeah, you remember that hunt.
I remember a couple of them. I mean,
you remember
that
the
one, yeah.
I could fit about 6 decoys out on, and hey, we still killed ducks.
Yeah. We had that one down on the farm ponds too that we blew open, and I thought we were going to have a great hole, and it froze back. I couldn't get it to stay open. It was too cold, and so we tried to break sheets, and next thing you know, you had chunks everywhere. We had them landing on the ice on top, like right next to the ice eater. No fucks given. Like, it was just stupid. And I was sitting there and I'm like, they're never going to work with this hole. So I spent the morning trying to get this hole just perfect. Goes back to what you were talking about. Didn't have the blind set up right. Didn't have the rest because I was like, oh, we just need this hole. We won't kill them without this hole. Burned the 30 minutes of prime flight we had where we could have been killing them, and was too worried about getting the water just perfect instead of just, I mean, I literally think because it was the first day it froze, I think we could have put the decoys on top of the ice that day, set up, and just shot them off the top of the ice. Like, it wouldn't have mattered. It would have done more good for us than trying to sit there and just bust a hole all morning.
I think that's a big topic in and of itself, and I'm extremely guilty of this. Waterfowl hunters are just overthinkers in general. Yeah. A lot of the time. I'm not saying don't try something different, but we tend to overthink. And everyone wants to be the guy that figured it out.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone does. We all do. Each of us at this table, we're competitive. We want to be the guy that figures that figured it out. What was
figured
the key
out
thing?
A new traffic spot, figured out a way to kill some stubborn birds, pressured birds.
Everyone wants to be that guy.
And I'll tell you what, some weird things have worked.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like stuff that's like, no, that'll never work. We can't try it. But trying it's your best option.
Yeah. Well, Bob, I think that's a great way to put it. And you basically have just titled our next episode, Overthinking.
There we go.
That's the next episode.
Catch us there.
But, yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. If you guys are looking to book a hunt with us, you can call Grant at 308-224-7289. WhiskeySlews.com be our website. You can check us out on all socials at Whiskey Slews. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and keep up there. We've got some really cool content coming your way, and then we've got a new show coming next fall. It's going to be a lot of fun. So get subscribed, go get all that checked out, and catch you guys on the next episode.